Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Green Man channel and also to Shoegazer 93, who is also putting this video up. And we're going to be talking about Ride's fourth studio album, Tarantula, and doing a bit of a deep dive into this record, which came out back in March 1996. And we're going to sort of do like three rough rounds of discussion here. We're going to talk about the road to the album, a bit of kind of first and initial thoughts on it. Then we're going to talk a bit more about the tracks and maybe pick out, a few that we kind of maybe like or dislike. And then we'll do a final round talking about how it stands today and where we might even rank it in the Ride discography, because it's an interesting album to talk about, and joined by Sam. So, yeah, how are you, Sam?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. Once again, yeah, done lots of band stuff over the weekend with my own band called
Breather.
Breather. So I'm
Yeah,
in good spirits.
good stuff, man. Good stuff. Yeah, okay. So this album, do you want to kick off? Do you want to talk a bit about your initial thoughts and the road to this album?
Yeah, sure. So yeah, obviously, Ride on my favorite band. I have to state that first of all. So it's a bit heartbreaking that I have to kind of maybe bring it down. Perhaps have to slate them a bit for this album, because yeah, it is a bit of a stinker. But there are reasons that I would go into as to why that is. I don't think it was entirely their fault, and they weren't up to their full potential at the time. But yeah, interesting. My story with this album would be, I listened to "We're Going Blank Again" was the first album I listened to by them, because my stepdad had "Leave Them All Behind" on his iPod, which became my favorite song of all time quite quickly. Just it sort of got everything that I want from music in that song. Um, and then so obviously then I checked out the rest of that album, Going Blank Again, and then I went to Nowhere because I saw that was like really highly rated. So yeah, I heard the best two albums first, and then Carnival of Light was that was the third listen, and then I think Tarantula, yeah, like a couple of months after, and I could see the sort of regression a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, there's what I read about a lot with this album is like this rising tension between Andy Bell and Mark Gardner, and that in the previous album, I didn't realize on Carnival of Light they split the tracks between them because of that tension. So Mark wrote one half of it, and then Andy wrote the other half or something. So they didn't really truly collaborate so much on it, which is interesting, except obviously, with the songs themselves, performing the songs. And then you've got this album where, Mark's not really on it much at all, apart from a
Yeah.
couple of tracks, which we'll probably talk about soon anyway. But I think the tracks were, what was it called? Deep Inside My Pocket. I think he was on that one.
Yeah.
Um, and
Yeah.
Riding or something, I think was the other
Yeah,
track.
because that's deep inside
Like
my
the Wind.
pocket is that's Mark's like diss track to Andy Bell. They both had their like diss tracks on there, apparently, like ones they wrote about each other. And Andy Bell was his one to Mark Gardner was Castle on the Hill, like implying that
Yeah.
Mark took too much control or something of the band, perhaps.
Mm,
And then deep inside my pocket could mean like, Mark referring to like Andy sort of chasing the money, maybe like with the
yeah.
whole like Oasis obsession and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. I,
Yeah,
I get
interesting.
that. I mean, he went on to join Oasis, didn't he,
Yeah,
later
year
on?
2000. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And
There's
I feel
There
like there's,
was another band in between called Hurricane Number One, which was which was like pretty much like Oasis light. They had like a gruff singer, and Andy was the main songwriter, but Andy was just on guitar for them. But they
yeah.
they got like a front man with like an attitude and a gnarly voice, a raspy kind of gnarly voice. So he, Andy kind of he edged his way towards that Oasis style. He got closer to it with like each project, I think. Yeah, you should listen to them. They're not bad actually. Hurricane Number One. They've got a good song called "Step Into My World," which is really good. And Andy's got this massive solo at the end of it. Quite Pink Floydy, I guess. Actually, the
Hmm.
solo has got quite a lot of emotion in it.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Yeah, I might have to check that out then. Interesting.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, you definitely hear the Oasis creeping into this record, Tarantula, and there's one or two tracks that I could almost picture, the Gallagher's, you know, delivering a performance to. But it's sort of the thing was with this album, I didn't feel like it, with Oasis, there's a certain swagger and attitude in all their songs. And
Mm.
with Ride doing this style, I didn't feel it's like suiting to them as certainly from
Mm.
the earlier material. I didn't really feel the fit of that. That I can see what they were doing and that they were under pressure to sort of maneuver themselves into more
Yeah.
Britpop territory.
Well, they were on the same label as Oasis. They were both on Creation
Yeah.
Records, and Alan McGee was like, I think he was like always telling bands to like kind of mold themselves into something, and
Mm,
he was thinking like profit wise.
yeah.
By the mid 90s.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think
Yeah.
he was good though. I think Alan McGee, I do like him, like especially like in the period the 80s and early 90s. I think like he was in it for the right reasons, and then mid 90s, I think maybe the money and the drugs got the better of him.
Yeah. Well, yeah. There's a whole story there. I probably don't
But
know.
yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, I read a lot of the Creation Records books. There's some really
Oh,
interesting reads. Um, yeah, Creation Stories, the book is very good. That's pretty much a biography. Or was it autobiography? Because it's written by Alan McGee. Would that be biography or auto? So I get the two mixed up.
Auto, I
When
think. Auto.
when it's autobiography, Alan McGee is pretty much doing the autobiography about creation, and there's other good reads as well. But anyway,
Probably be
yeah, I
education.
think that they were
Sounds
supporting each other as well at gigs
yeah.
apparently, like 94, 95. So riding Oasis were playing together.
Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, like what you were saying, I think a couple of the songs, I think you can sort of hear like Mark and Andy are like trying to put on this kind of like this gnarly bit of attitude in their voice, and it doesn't quite work, It's not quite. It just doesn't suit their voices, but it just seems a bit try hard in a few places.
Yeah. The album had a
Deep
pretty
inside
mixed.
my pocket, Mark's like deep inside my pocket, like really accenting the words like Liam Gallagher would, so you can sort of hear some kind of try hard thing
Totally.
going on.
Totally. The reception was kind of mixed. I thought there were a lot of critical reviews. I look at the list online, and there was the Select magazine of the 90s were quite generous. I think that was maybe the most generous score that I saw, was like that gave them that 8 out of 10 for this album. NME gave it 6 out of 10. I think it's about
Yeah,
fair.
quite generous, really. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, interesting. And Pitchfork 5.4 out of 10. Although I don't think that review was written until quite some time after the album release. I don't know, but yeah. So yeah, I guess initial thoughts just that it's definitely not a Ride album I would pull out to listen to.
No.
I don't think even Carnival of Light. I'd rather listen to that, to be honest, than this one.
Yeah, I do. I quite Carnival of Light. I remember when lockdown was happening. Um, I remember listening to that in the summer. Like it must have been like June, July, of 2020, and it was nice. Just sat in the garden, because you couldn't do much during lockdown. I remember just drinking and listening to it in the garden.
Listen
And
to Ride, listen to Shoegaze.
yeah, but I mean
Good way
the
to spend the
album.
time.
I've just yeah, but like I'm talking about Carnival of Light specifically, and it actually sounded good with just the summer vibe to it. It just had this kind of summer of love kind of vibe to it, and I think
I know
it
what you mean.
helped 60s because of the 60s, early 70s style.
Yeah.
And I thought that I quite liked it. I liked it more just because of the scenario and the mood and everything of the summer.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't, isn't I think it's okay in the summer. I think there's some good tracks on it.
You
Like
got your copy of Tarantula there as well.
No, I did get it. I did get it at one point, but because I haven't bothered to dig it out again, shows that it's not too good. I like the Moonlight Medicine's really good from this one. That's featured John Lord from
The opening track. Yeah,
Deep Purple on the organ.
yeah,
I know it's produced
good
by
track.
John Leckie, who's produced, Radiohead, The Bends, and Stone Roses. He did lots of classic stuff, lots of the post punk stuff like XTC and Magazine and that.
Yeah,
He was like tape operator as well on like George Harrison solo stuff. So I think Ride have always worked with great producers and engineers because they worked with Alan Moulder on the first two and then John Leckie. So they're like a lot of my engineering heroes.
right.
I'm not sure who produced Tarantula. I must
Oh, I
say on the
saw
back.
that. I did read it earlier, but now I think I've forgotten Richard somebody, I think. Can't remember.
But yeah,
But
the
yeah.
band had already split by the time Tarantula came out.
Yeah, that's right. And it was only on the roster of the label for a week or something before they took it off.
Wow.
That's what I heard.
Oh yeah, yeah. I
Yeah,
think I remember reading that.
yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Interesting stuff.
Well, yeah. So they must have split up, and then I guess they
Mm,
just took it off.
yeah.
Hmm.
Should we go into some of the tracks then? Should we talk about the
Yeah, yeah,
tracks? Do you want to talk about any sort of standout tracks or any tracks you like first?
yeah. Well, I think the first track, I think I do quite like that one. The oh, what's it called again? Do 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 do. It's all right.
Black Night Crash.
Black Night Crash. Yeah, I like that one. Um, I think, yeah, I think Ride have always done a good opening track to an album. I think like Moonlight Medicine with Carnival of Light. You got Seagull on Nowhere.
Oh, yeah.
Leave them all behind on Going Blank Again. So I think they've been consistent with the first tracks, and I think Black Night Crash it's good for that style, like, for that punk style, punky side of Britpop kind of style. I think is a good track for that genre. I think the riff is good. The do 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 do. So it's like sort of walk down, like descending, and I quite like that. And I remember the guitar licks are good, aren't they? Lots of like little wah bits, like wow 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 wow. Yeah, I quite like that. The drums are quite frantic.
Yeah.
Another track I like is Walk on Water, which is
Oh,
probably that's my favorite off the whole album. Actually, I would say Walk on Water, which is like track 4, I think.
yeah. I quite liked that one actually.
It
So they have
just
a sort of a love song type lyrics in
yeah,
theme.
like
Yeah,
yeah,
but I
obviously
don't want
like
to try and sing that one actually because I'm pretty sure I couldn't sing that one, so I'm not going to try.
yeah, yeah, I'm not either.
But
But yeah, that's it. I walk on water for you, and yeah,
mm,
I walk across the sea. That's the
yeah,
line. To get you close to me. And I like the guitar work. It's like 12-string Rickenbackers by the sounds of it. It's
yeah,
got that real like chimey sound, jingle jangle. And I think it's a well worked song. I think, and you can't really say that about many other tracks on it. A lot of it just seems like very like stitched together, and the mixing is a bit questionable
mm,
at times.
wow.
Like just sort of some of the guitar, and I mean it's crazy me saying this. I mean obviously I like noise and stuff, but it just isn't organized noise. It's you get these like distorted like stabs, don't you? Guitar stabs, and I think it gets in the way of the vocals or the drums, something like that. It comes out. It's not very like not compressed enough, maybe, or something like that.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, I probably don't quite know enough about production, but I know what you mean. It doesn't sound like everything does sound a little bit
forced.
forced. Yeah,
Yeah, that's the word, forced. Mm. And yeah, well, that Dead Man I was listening to before this video started, which is track 3, and yeah, I didn't like that at all.
starts off a bit like Sweet Home Alabama, or is that just me?
um, I
I
can't
live.
remember. I can't remember the intro to it. I just remember, yeah, maybe. But yeah, but there's a song. Was it track 2, Sunshine/Run to Nowhere? And I got this from some like there was a 2001 box set which has got like unreleased demos and stuff.
Cool.
And there's a song called She's So Fine, which is like track 4 on it. and it's basically that song, but it's reworked. It's like different lyrics and different production.
Okay.
And I prefer this demo version much better than the Sunshine Nowhere to
No,
Run, the
it's a
one that
run, yeah.
ended up on the album, because it's you get this like nice throbbing bass line that's like do 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 do, this like dancing bass line, like quite like reggae-ish in a way, and it's just mixed much better. And Loz is doing something better with the drums, like the fills and stuff are really impressive, and they made it too cluttered and stuff. They didn't have the clarity on the Sunshine Nowhere to Run, the reworking of it. So I prefer the demo to that song. So that was a bad choice there that they made. And what else is on the album? I think Burning's quite good from a guitar solo perspective. I think Burning's one of the better tracks. It's got it's like dun 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 dun. The main riff is quite like Rolling Stonesy, I guess. Like dun 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 dun. Sounding more like a game show or something then. But like a game show
Countdown.
intro, wasn't
I think you were going
it?
towards Countdown there.
Yeah, maybe. But yeah, so I would say my favorite tracks are Burning, Black Knight Crash, and Walk on Water. And as for the rest of it, not so good. Oh, there's Ride the Wind as well, which I think is a Mark track,
Yeah,
which I thought was okay.
Mark was involved in that one.
Ride the Wind. I thought that one was okay. Yeah, but apart from those 4 tracks, yeah, not very good.
Yeah, we're pretty similar. I think we're pretty lined up. Yeah, Black Knight Crash is one of my definite favorites on the album. It's just quite a solid rocker. It's not necessarily anything super incredible, but it's a good start to the album, I thought. And compared to a lot of the other songs, it's definitely one of the stronger points. Walk on Water, we said, exactly what you said. I like that track. It's my slightly preferred, more sort of on the love song side of things. There's another love song in here that I don't like, which we'll come to, I think, as a matter of course. And yeah, that one's actually pretty good, and it stuck with me. Out of all the songs, I was going to bed the other night and I was thinking of the chorus. Oh, well, okay, going to bed with that in my head. So yeah, and I think I quite liked it was the one of the tracks which maybe was Andy getting at Mark, the Castle on the Hill, or vice versa. I think it was Andy getting at Mark. Yeah. I liked that one as a song. I thought there was an element of songwriting and lyricism that is actually quite good.
Yeah.
Still not a great,
yeah, very very mellow
but
acoustic
pretty
style, isn't
nice.
it?
Yeah.
I remember.
Yeah.
Mellow acoustic.
Yeah. And I don't know about the rest of the album. I mean, Starlight Motel was almost something I could vibe with a bit. Like you said, Burning. There are some good sort of bluesy guitars. There's like some, definitely some good guitar work occasionally on this album. You get where it kind of goes into some cool licks and stuff. I mean, you maybe be able to better describe what he's doing on the guitar, but it's some good stuff there.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, that's why I like the Burning song.
Yeah.
I think that's very good for the guitar work. I mean, it might even be too long for some people.
Yeah.
I do think
it did go on a little bit.
Yeah. And I think, some of the structures aren't good, are they? And they just sort of throw a guitar solo in, just to kind of fill the space. Sometimes it feels a bit like desperation for ideas kind of thing.
Yeah.
But you are right, though. There's some good playing. Obviously, it's mostly the pentatonic scale stuff, but it's pretty much what most guitarists use most of the time anyway. I like the double stops that they do, makes it very bluesy. The double stops when you're using 2 strings, isn't it? You're just sort of hammering on and pulling off. Yeah, it's cool. Yeah, I think Andy's always been a good player.
Yeah. Cool. All right, should we move on to the tracks we didn't like as much?
Yeah. Well, I pretty much mentioned mine, so it's over to you, I think.
Over to me. Mary Ann. Really didn't like that. I couldn't get through almost 7 minutes of it as well.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
vocals are quite cringy, aren't they, on some of
yeah,
these songs?
yeah,
Like, they don't know whether to sort of go gritty or whether to like go whispery, do they? It's a, they're quite confused. It's conflicting.
yeah. That one's I didn't really enjoy it. I also thought like you, Sunshine Nowhere to Run was a little bit boring. Well, so yeah, I think gonna be all right. Also, didn't do much for me at all.
It wasn't all
Dawn
right.
Patrol, yeah.
Far from all right.
Dawn Patrol, well, that was okay actually. That wasn't too bad. That wasn't too bad.
Yeah, I think
Um,
I listened to that one before coming on. I think, yeah, that didn't really stick out for me. No.
yeah, I mean those are probably my least favorites. I think.
What's the other
Dead Man
one?
as well. I didn't really like Dead Man much. So yeah, I think the ones that I actually liked were sort of very similar to yours: Black Knight Crash, Walk on Water, A Castle on the Hill, and maybe Burning or Starlight Motel at the end.
Mm.
I would say were the parts of the album I actually could enjoy. But yeah, the rest of it was a bit of a slog to get through. Um, all right, then. Well, shall we now talk a bit about our overall thoughts and whether
Yeah.
this would be, I guess it's
Mm.
maybe a foregone
Thumbs up or
conclusion.
down or sideways.
Maybe, yeah. Or if it's our sort of least, yeah, where it comes in the
All right.
ranking.
Yeah, the ranking would be good. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I've got the old catalog here, haven't I? Most of it anyway, so I can hold the CDs up maybe. So, all right. Well, this one, it's going to be joint top with Going Blank Again.
Joint top.
All signed.
That's a bit of an escape, joint top.
Yeah, I think it's
Yeah.
hard to.
Yeah,
I
that's
mean, I
true. They're both top
I mean,
out.
this is really creative, isn't it? I mean, it's not just shoegaze. You
Oh,
get krautrock elements. You get proto Britpop pretty much.
yeah.
There's lots of stuff going on. So, yeah, very hard to say what's top really. Maybe out of push, I
Interesting.
would say Nowhere, just about. And then this one. I mean, I'll be rating the post reunion ones as well, because Weather Diaries and This Is Not a Safe
Safe
Place.
place. I
Yeah,
was
they
going to
would.
include them too. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Just they're like full length ones, I guess.
So I would give Weather Diaries, that would be like third place then, behind Nowhere and Going Blank Again. And then I would say This Is Not a Safe Place fourth, and then Carnival of Light. And then unfortunately Tarantula gets the last place, unfortunately.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think I am pretty similar, to be honest. I reckon, yeah, I would start at the, so I'll start do what you did. I'll start at the top. So at the very top, I think I would have Going Blank Again. I think I just prefer that a tiny bit to Nowhere, then Nowhere next. Um, then
Yeah, I
I
think
think I'm a This Is Not a Safe Place guy. I really dig that one in
yeah.
third, and then Weather Diaries fourth, then Carnival of Light fifth, and then this one sixth at the bottom. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's fair enough. Putting This Is a Safe Place as third. Yeah, I can concur with that. I mean, certainly, like, yeah, Future Love and what else? Yeah,
I
the
think it's the
opening,
title track, isn't it?
yeah, even the title track, isn't it?
Yeah.
RIDE is really good. It's like ride, but with the dots, so like an acronym style.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, that's really good. I mean, what was the other one as well? You had Jump Jet on it, and
Yeah.
In This Room was a really great closer to the track, to the album. I mean,
Yeah. Really
um,
good.
but yeah, I with Going Blank Again, I think the 11 tracks definitely helps the reputation of it, because Nowhere only goes up to 8 on the original copy. Apparently, it stopped at Vapor Trail, and they only added Taste Here and Now and Nowhere on later editions. Because I always thought it was an 11-track album, but an older fan corrected me, and they said that it only the original only went up to Vapor Trails. It only had 8 tracks on it.
Okay.
And I got a 2015 vinyl that even had the Today Forever tracks but added on it, so it's 15 tracks altogether.
Yeah.
So that's definitely the vinyl to go for if you want the shoegaze ride.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind getting a. I've got to get sort of hard copies of some of these Ride albums because I only really have them as downloads at the moment. So
Mm.
yeah,
Quite
that EP Today Forever. I wonder if I can get a hold of that on hard copy now. But I have
I
to
think
see.
it's quite hard to get on vinyl, but I think CDs is quite
CDs
easy.
maybe.
Yeah, I think eBay and Discogs. I get a lot of the stuff from Discogs. I do recommend them. Heard of them, Discogs?
Yeah,
Mm. Yeah, you should be
Discogs.
able to get it. Yeah. So yeah, was it? Did you really like Unfamiliar? Did you on Today Forever, the first one?
Yeah, that was a really good one. I
I
quite
think
like
through
Senon. I
effects
think it was
was great.
Senon and the last track especially. That was great. The Today, I think,
Yeah,
that was really great.
I think Unfamiliar shows their reverb side a bit more because
Mm,
they have a lot of the reverb in the tremolo that cuts through everything. I really like that effect on it. And
yeah.
then near the end, it sort of rises and falls, doesn't it? It has this whooshy effect to it. Like they've added
Yeah,
a phaser or
there is a
pitch
bit
shifter to it.
the whoosh. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I think. Do you know what though? Talking about Tarantula and how different it is from the EPs and the earlier albums.
Mm,
I start to wonder if if they'd not been on hiatus for what 20 years, or however long it was, almost 20 years, I think.
mm,
What we might have had from them in the
mm,
2000s.
mm,
So if they'd have still been carrying on into the late 90s and 2000s, would they have would they have reverted back a bit to their old sound by say, I don't know, 2000, 2004, 2005, who knows? But it would have been really
yeah.
interesting to see what if they had released something then, how that might be different from say Weather
Mm,
Diaries, or because Weather Diaries is quite dream
yeah.
poppy to me. It's not so
Mm.
it'll jangle pop,
Yeah,
that's
well,
the term.
they went back with Alan Moulder, the producer of the first two albums, with Weather Diaries.
Yeah,
So they obviously thought about it and thought, let's go back to the roots. Errol Elkin as well. He's like a DJ, electronic producer, like a bit more of my generation, I would say.
yeah,
So they got him. So they weren't afraid to experiment, which is good.
yeah.
Getting an
That's true.
electronic guy for a guitar band is quite a brave move.
Yeah,
I think it worked out quite well. But yeah, I
indeed.
think you're right. I mean, you could say that about a lot of the shoegazy bands. That if they carried on into the 2000s, how would Slowdive sound? How would
Right. Yeah.
Swerve Driver sound in the
What did we
2000s?
miss almost from that era? Yeah.
I mean,
It's
like,
interesting. It's almost a topic for a whole nother episode or something, isn't it?
yeah, it is.
What
Yeah,
did we miss in if they had stayed together? Yeah.
there we go. That could be
It could be
another
something
Zoom.
else.
Could be a Zoom. There we go.
Shoegaze Files
Yeah,
continuation.
the alternative 2000s, like
Yeah.
alternate universe 2000s.
Yeah.
Could be good.
That sounds pretty interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, we
We could do
could
that.
get another guest on for that as well. Yeah,
Indeed. All right,
indeed.
shall we yeah, I think we'll bring things towards a close then. So thanks very much, Sam,
Yeah,
for joining me for this discussion about Rise Tarantula.
yeah.
And
No
don't forget,
problem.
people, to drop a sub to Shoegazer 93. I think you just hit 800 subs.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I have been uploading quite a lot to. I'm pushing for that 1K.
Yeah.
Kind of like Hector. I'm getting
Yeah,
desperate.
he's nearly there. I think he's
I'm
very
going for it.
close. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll be celebrating that
That
soon.
that
Uh,
karaoke video that he did. I think that might have been a tactic to try and bit of clickbait maybe to try and get those extra subs.
Bit of karaoke never
Yeah.
does any harm. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, a bit of
And
humor and stuff.
do you
Yeah.
want to also say a quick bit about your EP as well, the Breather?
Yeah. So what we completed one track yesterday, sounding very good, and we got one that just needs overdubs, so 90% there. So that's going to be two of four tracks. So we're going to do Josh, my bandmates. We were going to do an album, but we changed our mind to do two or three EPs instead. So we've got one EP out already. which
Okay.
you know about.
Yeah.
But we're planning to get another one out there because we've been playing a lot of the new songs live, but just haven't recorded them. So we've got lots of songs, but yeah, not recorded. So we're really stepping on the gas now.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
maybe
Well,
couldn't really tell you release dates at the moment. It has to be
no
mixed and
worries.
mastered, so might even be December or January, something like that.
New
But
Year's
yeah,
release then.
also looking forward to Ride. I think they've got something coming out
Oh,
next year because I know that they've played this track called Monaco live. They keep playing this track called Monaco.
Monaco.
Yeah, when I saw them in Taunton, in August, played a gig in Somerset, and they played a track called Monaco, and it's not even a single or anything, but I think that will be the first single.
Yep. So I just typed in Ride reveals seventh album scheduled for this year or next year, but that was an update from November 2022. So obviously a year ago. So probably it's going to be
Yeah.
next year, I suspect.
Yeah, well, they said it's already completed already at the gig. They said, Mark said, like, it's
All right.
done, but we're just waiting for the right moment to put it out.
I'll definitely be looking out for that. Yeah.
Yeah.
As I've enjoyed their last two albums so much. Yeah. Yeah. I'll definitely be looking out for
And
that.
the track Monaco sounds a bit like, it sounds a bit like Jump Jet and Lano Point together.
Okay.
It's
Well,
in
that's
that
probably pretty
vein.
good.
Hmm.
Pretty
All
good.
right. Well,
All right. Yeah. Well,
we'll
thanks
wrap it up.
everybody. And
Yeah.
don't forget to drop us up to the Green Man as well. If you
Yeah,
can.
likewise with this man here as well, the Green Man. Give him a sub; he definitely deserves it. Like in the horror
horror
content,
content. I have been
horror.
ramping up the horror content
Yes.
alongside the music reviews recently. So yeah, it's sort of running along with Halloween a little bit, but
Yeah.
also just know my horror. No, I
Yeah.
love my horror really. So all right, thanks everybody for watching, and until next time, bye from me and from
Yeah.
Sam.
Take care.
Take care.
Bye.